call the June 7th Commissioner meeting to order. I'll be filling in for Chairman Kessler could not make it. If you haven't already, please silence your phones. This time I'd like you to stand. We'd like to have Commissioner Jones
Dear Father, it's such a privilege and opportunity to serve the citizens of Effingham County. We pray that you'll give us wisdom tonight as we make these decisions, that they'll be in the best interest of all citizens. In your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item of business is consider a resolution to approve the agenda. Any additions, any information?
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval from that, Commissioner Loper, and second by Mr. Jones. Next item, consideration to approve the minutes for the May 17th, 2006 regular commissioners meeting, and minutes for the May 26th, 2016 budget workshop. Any corrections or additions there? If not, I'll call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, that passes. Commissioner Whipper and Commissioner Jones second. All public comments are for agenda items only. Also, all correspondence, all documents for this meeting are located in the clerk's office and on the Board of Commissioners website. The first item for the consent agenda, item number 1, consideration to approve to renew the agreement for lodging excise tax distribution with the Effingham County Chamber of Commerce. Item 2, consideration to approve to renew the agreement with the municipal court of the city of Guyton for probation services. Item 3, consideration to approve to renew the agreement with the municipal court of the city of Springfield for probation services. Item 4, consideration to approve to renew the agreement with the state court of Effingham County for probation services. Item 5, consideration to approve to renew the agreement with the Superior Court of Effingham County for probation services.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, that passes with Commissioner Keeper and Commissioner Jones second. I'm sorry. Under old business, item 1, consideration to appoint the building inspections coordinator as building official. I'll let you discuss that. Item 1, under old business.
So this was tabled at your last meeting. Basically, the proposal here is to appoint Jimmy Paul, who is the building inspections director, as the chief building official, and it allows certain things under the code that they can make code interpretations and certain other functions. And basically, our code, our ordinance, chapter 14, section 1454, is the part of our code that references buildings, and it refers to a department, and the person that is the head of it shall be the building official. The International Building Code in chapter 1 has some language on the chief building official, and basically says that they shall be appointed by the local governing authority, and they should be recognized as someone that has training in that regard. But DCA, when they adopted the building code, did not adopt chapter 1. They left it in as a guide for local government, so it's really not applicable. So I think one could make a good argument that we really have a chief building official at this point, and that person is the person in charge of the building inspections department, which would be Jimmy Paul. So at this point, we're really just trying to make it official and have this board do an official action of that, so that that person will be in place.
I don't mind okaying, but there's a bunch of language in that that I think needs to be, he has a lot of authority. If you read that thing, he has too much authority which he does not need.
The authority that you're referring to is out of the International Building Code and Residential. It's not our ordinance. We don't have the ability to strike that. That's-
And it's actually in chapter 1, which isn't state law.
Which is not
So it's-
adopted.
So it's not,
It's not really what we're
it's
voting
not,
on.
it was put in as reference, that chapter.
Yeah.
I know it was in there, and we, that's.
Well, but our code,
Okay,
our code refers to the International Building Code and International Residential Code as amended by DCA, which means chapter 1 would not apply. So those authorities that you're referring to are, that they wouldn't apply.
I don't have my copy of it anyway.
I would say for the input of tonight, or we're voting on here, is just to give him the authority that he needs to run that department, which was our intent when we hired him for that job. And we're just clarifying that within our policy.
Commissioner Love, where that comes in is the Georgia amendments. Specifically, it says delete chapter 1, scope and administration of that building code. So it doesn't apply. I think it was,
And it's got all that stuff. And like I said,
I know, I think chapter 1 was just put in there for reference. Am I correct?
Yes.
It is absolutely is not state law. It is not anything.
he had all this. Is that under chapter 1 that you got a copy of?
Yeah, page
But I agree, it's
5.
confusing. But when you read that one section of the Georgia amendments, chapter 1 is.
Do you have yours, page 5 and 9, Mr. Lumber?
I don't have it, I didn't bring it. but
What's
I
in your
just-
book?
Huh?
Should be in your book. Page 5 and 9 of this item?
It might be, okay. I don't think all that was in there with it, so.
It should
And as
be.
far as you're concerned, I'll share those with you.
Yeah, I think what you're looking at,
I had marked them other than there.
Yeah, but see page 5 and 9, at the very top says revised International Building Code 2012 as follows, chapter 1, delete chapter 1. So that's where DCA deleted chapter 1 out. Chapter 1 was included in here just for reference, and you can see what they said the duties of a building official were, or powers thereof, but it's not included by reference, so. We have not adopted chapter 1 because we adopted what DCA adopted as amended, and they specifically included that.
As a board, we would have the authority to do that, but we're not at all doing that.
You could absolutely, yeah, but you'd have to send it to DCA to get their blessing on it. Correct. And then that page,
146 there, so
sorry,
that's not part of it then.
which one? 104.6,
104.6, right of entry.
right of entry, no. That is that is out of the international, building code.
Chapter 1.
Yeah, International Building Code, Chapter 1, but because DCA didn't adopt it, we only adopted what DCA adopted.
Okay.
So we would not be adopting that. What our code would say, if you go a little bit farther forward, page 3 of 9, Building Department, powers, duties of building official, that's what well actually does. I was lying to you. We did adopt that part in 14-55. Page 3 of 9.
Our ordinances?
Yeah, page 3 of 9. So we could amend that if y'all wanted to.
What section is that?
Page 3 of 9, 14-55. Powers, duties of building official, general, B is right of entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
So we would be able to amend that?
Not tonight, I wouldn't think.
But again, that's in our ordinance now.
Correct.
And all we're
But even
not.
if it is in our ordinance, it needs to come out.
Yeah,
It needs to come out one way or the other.
Yeah, in our ordinance now, the building official would have these powers, we just don't have anyone designated as the building official. But we could take it out, I just don't think we could do it tonight, we have to advertise it because it's an ordinance amendment.
So for tonight's purposes, we could pass this, which would allow Jimmy to be in charge and at a later time.
We can bring it back next meeting, it's just striking it.
And I don't have no problem with that.
Yeah, I could, if that's all you want, that's easy, I can have that for you next week. We'll just strike 1455D.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was in our ordinance. I was looking strictly at international building.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I brought it up before, that's the reason I had to take it.
I don't disagree with you at all.
So no, so we can certainly do that at the next meeting. If you want to go ahead and appoint him as the building official, then we will revise those powers at your next meeting. We will bring that revision to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve staff recommendation number 1.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried with Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Deloach. Second item, under old business, consideration to approve the first reading to amend Article 6, Sections 30-245 and 30-246 of the official code of Effingham County.
This also was tabled at the last meeting. We had a mix-up on what went to you all as far as the revisions. The attorney had made some further revisions and it somehow did not get in your book. I think it was a little late getting it there. But basically, this is the section of our ordinance that deals with anything within 50 feet of a wetland as shown on the National Wetlands Inventory map. The current ordinance says has to get a jurisdictional determination from the Corps of Engineers. That being a very long process, we wanted the ability to do something else if it were a minor subdivision. So what we did, we went back and separated this into minor subdivisions and major subdivisions, with a minor subdivision being 3 or less lots. And 3 or more, I guess. 3 to make more than 3. 4 or more will be a major subdivision. So we separated that into basically a major subdivision being section 30-246, page 2 or 3 here. Basically what it says is a major subdivision has to get a jurisdictional determination. And the idea there is you've got to do surveying, you've got to do engineered plans. There's a lot of steps you have to go through. It probably makes sense to go through that process. And then we separate that out to a minor subdivision. That gives a couple of different options here. If it's within 50 feet, the permit is issued after the Corps of Engineers determines their jurisdictional wetlands and a permit's obtained, or they determine there's not. So you either go through the jurisdictional determination process, or you get documentation from a competent environmental professional qualified to determine the location, which is what we've been doing. We basically say, go get somebody that's competent to delineate wetlands, have them go out there and look at it, write us a letter that says it's not within or not in wetlands. And then there's a caveat added that the issuance of a county land use and a building permit under this part will not guarantee the issuance by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So we basically just try to separate it out into 2 different things. If it's a major subdivision, you need to get a jurisdictional determination. If it's a minor, you can if you would like, or you can simply get a wetlands consultant to go out and look at it and just making note that we are not the Corps of Engineers. We cannot make that call on it. So if you do that and you find out that you have an issue later, sort of at your risk.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Again, that carries. Next item concerns the budget. Consideration to approve the second reading of the board, the budget ordinance for fiscal year 2016-2017.
Good evening. Generally, we always do a slide presentation, and we've really been through this, and we usually go through it on the second reading when there's been changes. Presently, we've had no changes that we've had to make to the budget. It is as we presented it originally to you. And so we thought we'd just run through the first one or two slides and then towards the end to show you what's changed on the digest. To the first one. Basically, our budget currently stands at $28,146,233. It is a 2.34% increase. And you can see within your slides and your documents the changes that were made as far as functional revenues and property tax and loss and so forth that we've seen there. And then the changes that were made within the personnel and purchases and supplies. The net effect of that was $642,000. As far as the millage itself, our current millage stands at 8.337. Currently, the proposed budget is to leave the millage at the current rate. That would, in the instances where property tax owners have been reassessed and those rates have increased, would increase that property tax. However, it is what we need at this point, and we have maintained that millage rollback for numerous years. And at this point, staff has recommended that we leave the millage at the 8.337.
But only the citizens that had an increase in property value for that increase.
That's
Everyone
correct.
else will remain the same.
That's correct. As far as the overall personnel, we did add 4 additional staff within the sheriff's booking. We did increase for longevity increases. Other reductions that staff was able to make throughout the year, whether it be non-replacement of staff or co-mingling of staff and sharing staff, resulted in a $279,000 difference. So the overall net change was 202. As far as capital, as this board knows, our capital has been one of those things that has been demanding over the last few years. Part of the increase in the budget is to begin to rebuild that capital. And so what you'll see is payments in there for the sheriff's office, projects for roads, our EMS department for heart monitors. We felt like that was necessary. And then some general government replacements such as radios and weapons and gear. Nothing basically has changed within our special funds since the last presentation either. This is the newest and the latest 5-year history from the tax commissioner's office. We are still in the process of checking a couple of these figures with her office. And so as we spoke at the special meeting for the special funds, we are in the process of getting that information together. We do have until September 1st to actually pass the millage. But we just wanted to make sure that y'all were updated as far as the changes from the last PT 32. This is the current PT 32, and it shows a 2.36% increase in the overall digest. This was the hospital digest, as you recall. We had talked about increasing that hospital digest to about 2.3 because it has remained the same as the 1.977 in order to make sure that we were able to accommodate the 3.6 million that is payable to the hospital each year.
Now, I'd like to clarify just on that, as far as for the last several years, the current millage at the hospital has not collected the funds that's necessary to meet the contract for the 3 point whatever million that we're responsible for.
That's correct.
So we had to actually borrow from the general fund to make up that difference.
That's correct.
And so that's why we're going to adjust that.
Yes, ma'am. And that is for the indigent care that the hospital has. on behalf of the county.
Has the school board paid that money to you yet?
Yes, sir, they have.
They have. You deposited?
I believe they have. I asked staff to check on that the last time. I believe they told me they have.
They told you, well, the check would come to you, wouldn't it?
Well, it comes to my office. I don't actually personally handle everything.
She says we've received it, but she's not sure if they deposited it.
Okay.
Just so that the board is aware, of course, for us to proceed with the county millage, we have to have the Board of Education millage, which we believe they will do somewhere around the 20th of this month. We still have to complete the 5-year history and set the advertisement dates and then have the actual hearings for the millage. It's not due to the state until 9/1 this year, so we have a little bit of time to accomplish that. And if the board has any other questions, but we basically were able to leave the budget as we discussed in each of our meetings and at the last presentation.
I have a chart. Do you remember basically the budget that we're approving now? It's still back to the year in line with something like what, a 9?
Would have been back to like 09, prior to 11. I believe we're at about 30 million, if I recall correctly, in 2008, 2009. 2008 was 29 million. 2008 was 29 million. 2009 was 30 million. 2010 was a little over 30 million.
I just want to show the systems that were here as far as how hard we work to reduce the millage and the taxes and get them back to where they were previously.
Any further discussion? No, I'll call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve order number 1, approve the ordinance as is for the second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries now. Valerie?
Yes,
Here, I'm sorry. Next item, consideration to approve a termination letter to EnviroWorks Operations Management LLC.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, this was a table at our last meeting as well to allow time to have some discussions with our contractor, consultant, I'm not sure what, EnviroWorks. There have been some meetings and some discussions since that time. I think there's been some plans to maybe extend the time frame out here to allow time to further negotiate the scope of the services and how we'll do going forward. With that, I think you all have had some plans on how y'all like to do it. I think we want to set a time frame. Is that what we decided?
Yeah, I think, I was thinking do month to month, put a 6-month time limit on it, and have another discussion, but I don't know, how would that need to read? We would authorize to not sign the termination letter, and then that would be, make a separate motion, or?
Well, I spoke to Levi before the meeting and asked about an appropriate way of making a motion. And I can incorporate that 6-month time limit into month to month into what I have, if that works for everybody. To catch it, I think we've had a little bit of conversation to catch everybody up. At the last meeting, I did ask to have a meeting set up with EOM management, and that did take place. I met with them and staff and went over a few of the concerns that we had, and I thought we about a meeting to where I felt that I could support the whole month to month. That would give both sides some time to work out some things and hopefully even maybe some additional improvements. So
With the 6-month review.
I'm fine with that.
And also, they have a lot of equipment over there. I think they need some new equipment. I think we need to look at, I know they got a bunch of equipment over there that's been down for years, and some of it they have over there now is not working, so they cannot produce if they don't have nothing to produce with.
I understand, sir. You still got to pay for it. I'll buy them all.
Commissioner, look,
We'll buy it. We got to keep the roads up.
Commissioner Loper, I'll say that was some of the things that were discussed. And that's why one of the additional reasons going month to month, we can kind of work out all those details about things on both sides.
So 6 months, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve alternate number 3, which is do not sign the current letter, but rather have the chairman sign and issue a new letter that states it's the board's will and intent to continue on a month-to-month basis until both parties can further review, and add to that a 6-month deadline for some type of renegotiation.
I second that.
I'm sorry. Let me
No,
add.
you're not.
And add to that letter a request for their signature agreement to that change.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Loper, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's it for old business. New business. We have a proclamation. Consideration to approve 2 proclamations declaring June 7th, 2016 as Effingham Champions Day for lacrosse and youth track. Clarence.
Clarence Morgan, Recreation Director. We appreciate the opportunity to appear for you today. We asking for a little quick action because of summer vacation that y'all approved the proclamation tonight, and my people will be here probably as we speak, and we go ahead and get over it because I think the longer we wait during the summer, the less attendance we'll have for tonight. But we jazz you to lacrosse is our first ever in lacrosse sport, and track is the 11 kids who qualify for the state track meet, and at the state track meet there's over 900 that they participate against. So as a qualification, they have to be first or second in local, first or second district to qualify for state. So we asked them for Champion Day for lacrosse and youth track.
Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Roach, seconded by Commissioner Keeper, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And if you give me about 2 minutes, I'll have them in here and we'll go ahead and get over it.
Nah, so it's 5:45, then maybe.
Okay.
Item number 2, consideration to approve amendment number 1 to the Time Board Landscape Management Contract.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, Purchasing Agent. The county currently has a contract in place with Tidewater Landscape Management for mowing and lawn care services. The term is from July 1st, 2015 until June 30th, 2016, with 3 additional 1-year terms. As 2015-16 was the first year the county had a mowing and lawn care services contract, it was anticipated that some changes to the scope would be needed at the end of the first year. Amendment number 1, which runs from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017, takes into consideration the following changes. The addition of the Elections Extension Building, together with areas outside of the sports field at the SR 119 and Sandhill facilities, as they were inadvertently omitted from the initial contract. 1 additional mowing has been added at the Veterans Park to accommodate for Veterans Day, as it falls outside of the mowing cycle. The mowing frequency for the sports fields has been increased from once per week to twice per week during the summer, which is the peak growing season. The duration of the mowing cycle has increased overall, as it was determined that the previous contract started too late and ended too early. The annual fee has increased from $93,363 to $124,813 to accommodate the additional scope of work and the increased frequency of the mowing cycles. The contract allows for a 45-day notice period for convenience and a 45-day notice period for cause if the cause has not been resolved after a 30-day cure period. As funding has been requested for the fiscal year 17 and the amendment has been reviewed and approved by the County Attorney, staff recommend alternative number 1. Any questions?
Pretty straightforward. Any discussion from the board? I'll call for the motion.
Make a motion to approve alternate number 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Whitaker, second by Commissioner Blair, all in favor? opposed? Carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Item is discussion item, discussion on allowing Effingham County Hospital Authority to locate a trash compactor.
Skip 3, Chairman.
Say again?
You skipped number 3.
Number 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I am. All right, item 3, consideration to approve a capacity agreement with the State of Georgia Department of Corrections. Sorry.
Good evening. The board currently has an intergovernmental capacity agreement in place with the Georgia Department of Corrections, which stipulates how many state inmates the county is able to accept and how much compensation the county will receive for housing the state inmates. The agreement expires on June 30th, 2016. The county has received a new agreement from the Georgia Department of Corrections, which will run from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017. The new agreement allows for the county prison to house 192 state inmates, for which the county will receive $20 per day. The Department of Corrections has sole authority of transfers of the inmates to and from the county prison. As the agreement has been reviewed and approved by the county attorney, staff recommends alternative 1.
And that's the same number that we have approved at this current time.
Yes.
We can't charge the people that use these inmates all the time, so we lose money on them. You know, especially the ones going out in the county. I know the ones in the county we probably could, but how about the ones going out in the county? We can't charge them something?
They pay for the guard.
They pay for the equipment, the
vehicles,
gas,
yeah.
and transport, but we still pay, what, $15 extra? We don't give them $20 a day for them, and it costs us $35, so.
I don't know
I
if
think
they're
it's state regulated.
That's something we can certainly look at the state regulation and see who allows for anything.
I know the county you probably could, because that's, you know,
I believe the reason why we structured it the way we did, if I recall correctly, is because of the state requirements. We can't physically charge for their labor. We can charge for the person overseeing them, but we can't physically charge for their labor.
Why don't we ask the county attorney to
Okay.
look at the state regulation and see if there's anything additionally that it allows for us to charge for that we're not charging for? Do that.
Yes.
just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah,
I
that's
tried.
fine. I understand. Mhm.
Any further discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Motion to approve staff alternative number 1.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Roach. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Item 4, discussion on allowing the Effingham County Hospital Authority to locate a trash compactor on county-owned property. Thomas, you
Yes. The hospital approached Commissioner Kiefer, I guess, about wanting to relocate their compactor. I guess right now it's pretty much right outside the door of the cafeteria. And they were concerned with, well, the smell of one thing, and I guess with the Zika virus and all floating around, that they're just concerned. They wanted to move to a different location. And they'd like to relocate it around the side of the building closest to the Veterans Park. And it would be, there's a building, a driveway that goes down inside. It will be on the Veterans Park side of the driveway. There's a sketch attached, but it's not really clear exactly where this is. They believe it will be on county property. The review that we've done on it, I'm not entirely sure that it will be, although I can't swear to you that it won't. Wes has coordinated with, I was hoping I could remember his name. I can't remember the gentleman's name. It's in maintenance over there. He asked him to basically stake off the location. He just pulled some dimensions. Josh Forbes, yes, I believe that's right. And based on those dimensions, again, we don't believe it'll be on the property. So what we're asking for is, if, I guess number one, does anyone, if it is on county property, does anybody have a problem with them locating it over there?
Yes, sir. When we gave them that land, we told them what land we could have, and it went, I know exactly where it was, it went to a point there. And they were not supposed to have anything past that, and I think the road is about on the line. So if it's across the road over towards the lake, then it is on our property, and we do not need to encroach the Veterans Park any more than original they had. They can put it across the other road if they want to. I don't care where they put it, but they do not need to get it over on the Veterans Park property.
Okay.
Is that where they're going towards the Veterans Park?
Now, there's a lake in between where it would sit and the actual park itself, but it's, yes, it's towards the Veterans Park.
Would never be usable against.
Well, this is a discussion item.
But the lake,
Well, it is, but I guess what we were getting at is that the board's opposed to them, oh no, we just go tell them no, you know, you gotta go somewhere else. If you're okay with them putting it there, then we would go forward and determine if it's gonna be on our property or not, and if so, we need to do, you know, some sort of an agreement with it, but if the answer is no, then there's no need to even have discussions with them.
I'll be glad to go over there and check it out, because I know exactly where the line is. But and if they need it anywhere else on our property, I don't have any problem with it whatsoever.
And this was the only spot they wanted, or they were looking at? I mean, are they open to a different spot, or it had to be here, what we're talking about?
Well, across from the other road, I believe you're talking about across First Street, is that what you're referring to?
And we gave them all that property over there.
I think logistically it'd be difficult because of the traffic to get across it, quite frankly. This is where they asked. I mean, we didn't go any farther than that, and we'll ask the board if there's any issues in doing it. And if there are issues, then
I'll go there and look at it, but I don't think it.
Commissioner,
Huh?
head this up.
I'm the one that made the line strong, so I know exactly what it's at.
I personally don't have a problem, but you know, if Commissioner Loper does, if he needs a level of comfort.
it's over in this area here.
I don't have a problem, why don't we just have Commissioner Ledford go with staff or whoever and try to find a reasonable spot for them.
Yeah, somewhere right in here is where they won't put it. This is the lake, the pond, or whatever, and the actual park is kind of this area.
If there's a reasonable way to work it out, I don't have a problem.
And I think it's sitting over here now. Most of this is parking. They really have to come off of this side, like Commissioner Lowe. There's a pretty big drop over starting here, I believe, where it falls off the hill.
It does.
But there's, again, we're just asking for this conversation. If there's opposition to them putting it there, we'll say no. If not, we just want it. And we can try to determine if it is or not going to be on the property. But there's the road you're talking about, Commissioner Hooper, right here. There's a little tiny sliver over there. According to these maps, well, what I also think is I think these are not right. I think this line's really over here if you look at the actual survey. But I think there's more room on that side of the driveway than what we're showing.
The best thing is probably for the hospital to have a surveyor stake the property, let's see where the property line is.
They survey it.
That's expensive.
I know where the stakes are.
Yeah,
I know where the stakes are. I have to look at them.
Further request, I don't have a problem with trying to let staff move forward and see if we can work it out, and if Commissioner Ledford would like to be a part of that, I'm fine with that.
Is that clear direction or not really?
Well, and I guess what we were wondering, and I guess it is direction, we'll go forward. So if it is on our property, then we need to come back to you all and make a determination. If it's not on our property, there's nothing, no issue here. They can do what they want to do. It's their property.
Just keep Commissioner Love from the loop. Go with it, second look at that.
That's fine. I'll give Mr. Forbes and have him meet us over there. We'll go have a chat with him and see. Because I did not meet with him. Wes did, and then Wes and I went back afterwards. We spent about 10 minutes trying to find the corners, and I didn't, but we didn't get real deep in it. So I'll do that. Well, maybe next week you be available?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you want to go.
Okay.
We're going to break here, or not break, I'm sorry. We'll do the presentation. Clarence, if you want to get your folks in, we'll take care of that. Meet y'all. Meet down here. We'll recognize some of our youth.
You want call, you want read, you want call? Yeah, You're going to divide these up 5 ways. Divide them up 5 ways.
Take you time. This is the first one, right?
This is squash, yeah. I'll just divide them up 5 ways.
Stand. Okay. I'm gonna have you know for this, yeah.
You got
2.
I think here.
Okay, the first proclamation we're going to do is for across.
Everybody else.
Is that whereas the youth of Effingham County participating through Effingham County Recreation Park lacrosse program grades 6 through 8 played in the South Coast Middle School League is the Effingham first lacrosse team, and we're going to recognize them for that. You remember I told y'all about a year and a half ago in a workshop that that cross was coming. Didn't realize it was going to be this quick. So this is the first. Okay. Devin Foreman, when you get your, just stand right over here, we're going to get a group picture. Get your thing. Cannon Myers, Petrie Price, Gavin Burrs, Hayden Spilliard, Jacob Curtis, James Jolin, Christopher Palmer, Ashton Pearson, Dalen Price,
Congratulations, my man. There you go.
Philip Brown, Quinlan Clunsey,
Congratulations.
Robbie Taylor,
Congratulations, young man.
Joshua Merritt, Scott Merritt, Jacob Bell, coaches, Chris Hillmeyer, and Randy Klein. The gentlemen, y'all come stand right in front of the commissioners. If y'all will back up, the commissioners, y'all back up, y'all stand right in front of them. Well, we can get the 2 coaches on the end.
Okay.
Get some short one in the front where you can be seen.
I guess I'm on that side over there.
Back up just a little bit.
All guys in the back. Like that.
Okay. Need your attention? Okay, look forward. We'll break the camera. If y'all would just go right to your right, make a line, y'all would do the track, okay?
Appreciate it. Y'all doing a good job. Y'all doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
When you divide this a track, you have to divide these up.
Okay. How many are there?
Oh, that's my thing.
Give me 2 of them. I can take 2.
Okay, if I have your attention, please. Again, congratulations to our cross team. This is the first and definitely will not be our last. We started something new this year, and I apologize for not doing it in the past. We always have some children qualify, or some athletes qualify to go to state track meet. When they go to track meet, they participate against over 900 more kids. They have to place first and second in our local, first and second in district. And I just think it's time we start recognizing them for making it to state because what they got to go through. And the parents who went this year for the first time, you saw how big the track was and track program that we were competing against. So this time we're going to recognize 11 youth from Effingham County Youth Track that participated in the Georgia Recreation Park State Track Meet in Augusta, Georgia on May 13th and 14th. They are Riley Spindis, Savannah Rodriguez,
Congratulations.
Evan Orberg, just stand right over here, okay? Alyssa Molinek,
Got one more from you. Congratulations.
Heather Lee, Kiera Womack Branch, Jamar Doe Davis, Jamari McCovey,
Congratulations, Rick.
Dalton Bean, Jonathan Estrada,
There you go.
and Dominic Harrison. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, y'all come stand right in front of the commissioners. Y'all come stand right in front of them.
Y'all feel it? There you go, Sam. Feel it right there. There you go. You can see them, the girls. There we go. All right, everybody look right here at me, real quick. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Nancy just took your head.
When we get through, we're going over to the gym and we're going to have a pizza party for them. Okay, young ladies and gentlemen, y'all can go. Commissioner, I want y'all to stay right there a second, okay? Come on, young ladies and gentlemen. Try Okay, why don't you give us this? Then we'll just use it. Okay.
Sit right here.
Being I got 4, I'm gonna do something look different. Hang tough Stephanie. We had a young girl who got called last week from the Major League Baseball, LEJ Sports. She qualified to go to the team championship in Atlanta on Saturday to participate in pitch, hit, and run. She is one of 4 girls from the state of Georgia, South Carolina, Northern Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and North Carolina. If she in the top, if she wins on Saturday, she'll get to go to San Diego to the All-Star game to participate in the pitch, hit, and run. We've been participating in this program about 15, 20 years, and we've had other people do it. Me and I had y'all capped on it. This was going to be in the paper tomorrow, and I figure we wish them luck, and y'all be part of it. We'll be back recognizing her. It is Ashley Jordan. Okay? Thank y'all. And she's 8-year-old.
Wow. 8 years.
Yeah, she is 8-year-old. So that's great. Okay, Travis, let's go.
Thank you all for your participation.
Thank y'all. Y'all have always told me You always told me that one of the best things y'all see happening is when we bring young people before y'all to be recognized. And I am proud that we can keep doing this. And thank y'all.
Appreciate the job you do, parents.
Well, thank y'all.
We'll be glad to do it. Appreciate you guys.
Okay. Next item, number 5. Consideration to approve to authorize the chairman to sign a sanitary sewer extension submittal form to the EPD for Old Augusta Road utility extensions. Charles?
This is, the EPD requires an extension submittal form for water and sewer extension service more than one customer. This is the planned improvements that you all are doing to extend service from the Park of Commerce up Old Augusta Road to serve those developments coming on the south end of Old Augusta Road. And it is, it requires the signature of the local government. We bring it to you all because there's a certification that's not built on lands that are a landfill or were a landfill. We typically have for you a letter from the consultant stating that. Since it's our project, we're basically certifying to ourselves that we do that. I do have a letter, I didn't get it until after this, that says it's not on a landfill. So with that, we would ask for you to authorize the chairman to sign so we can get the project submitted to EPD.
Any discussion? Motion.
Make a motion to approve alternate number 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Roper, second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item, Fiona, consideration to approve a bid and issue a contract to ABT doing business as Roto-Rooter Plumbers of Savannah for on-call plumbing services.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, purchasing agent. The county maintains an annual contract for on-call plumbing services to ensure a standardised hourly rate for plumbing work that cannot be self-performed. The current contract expires on June 30th, 2016. A request for quote was issued and advertised in the usual places and sent to 12 known vendors. 2 bids were received, the bid tabs in your packets, the low bidder being ABT doing business as Roto-Rooter Plumbers of Savannah. The contract has been received from ABT, which runs from July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, and has a 7-day termination for convenience clause. As the contract has been reviewed and approved by the county attorney and funding will be from the general fund when needed, staff recommends alternative number 1. Any questions?
Any discussion? Motion.
Make a motion to approve alternate number 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Loper, second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item, consideration to approve a bid and issue a contract to Aiken Harper Electrical Services for on-call electrical services.
The county maintains an annual contract for on-call electrical services to ensure a standardised hourly rate for electrical work that cannot be self-performed. The current contract expires June 30th, 2016. A request for quote was issued and advertised in the usual places and sent to 13 known vendors. 2 bids were received, the bid tabs in your packets. The low bidder is Aiken Harper Electrical Services. The contract has been received from Aiken Harper, which runs from July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, and it has a 7-day termination for convenience clause. As the contract has been reviewed and approved by the county attorney and funding will be from the general fund when needed, staff recommends alternative number 1. Any questions?
No discussion. Motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Motion by Commissioner Deloach, second by Commissioner Cooper. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Consideration to approve a bid and issue a contract to Augusta Chiller Services Incorporated for on-call HVAC services.
The county maintains an annual on-call contract for HVAC services to ensure a standardised hourly rate for HVAC work that cannot be self-performed. The current contract expires on June 30th, 2016. A request for quote was issued and advertised in the usual places and sent to 23 known vendors. 4 bids were received, the bid terms in your packets. The low bidder is Augusta Chiller Service Incorporated. The contract has been received from Augusta Chiller, which runs from July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, and it has a 7-day termination for convenience clause. As the contract has been reviewed and approved by the County Attorney and funding will be from the General Fund when needed, staff recommends alternative number 1. Any questions?
If no discussion, motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Any of these people have from the county?
Are any of them from Effingham County? The gentleman that works for Augusta Chiller, he actually is in Effingham.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Steph, did you get who it was?
Actually, I did.
Who made the motion? Jenny made the motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Logan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item is consideration to approve a memorandum of agreement between Effingham County and the Department of Homeland Security. I see you want to present this.
R.C. Baranchik, zoning administrator. Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services designed a program named Systematic Alien Verification of Entitlements, or SAVE. This is an intergovernmental initiative to aid benefit granting agencies in determining an application's immigration status. Furthermore, it ensures that only entitled applicants receive federal, state, or local public benefits and licenses. USCS requires the attached addendum to be updated on a yearly basis. Approval is necessary to be compliant with the DHS, and we previously approved this addendum.
Any discussion? Motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Blake, second by Commissioner Logan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, consideration to approve the addition of the 4th tier to the prescription drug plan of the current health insurance plan.
Good afternoon, how are y'all? An ongoing review of our insurance programs, ways to save costs for not only the county but also the employees. We've come up with 3 proposals that we'd like for you to review. The first one that is listed is adding an additional tier to our current prescription drug program. We currently have 3 tiers. Each one has a different copay, depending upon the cost of the prescription itself. By adding the 4th tier, it will reduce the county's portion by 1% for the rest of the year, which there's a chart in there, it totals up to about $17,000 savings, just from adding that tier. And the list of drugs are in your books, and it's very, say, boutique style drugs, very expensive drugs that there are other options for, but it does reduce our premiums for it. The second option would be when we're rolling out a wellness program, which I think will be very beneficial to the employees. We also want to add, and I can't believe I'm doing this, a $60 surcharge for tobacco users. This would be something that the employees would have an option to go through this cessation program and be able to eliminate that surcharge if they complete it successfully. It's not a revenue generator, it is a lifestyle change. And this is something that is approved by and is used under the Affordable Care Act as well. As long as we have a way for them to be able to eliminate that surcharge, we can apply it.
What's that time
Time frame, announce it July 1.
No. Time.
90 days.
90 days to
Yes, sir.
cease.
Yeah, you've got 90 days.
Would we ever have a ballpark dollar amount of what that savings was?
I've looked and there's nothing concrete on it. It's a healthier lifestyle, so you have less chance of emphysema, you have less chance of chronic bronchitis, lungs, any kind of effects like that. And also that it's a stimulant, it slows down the heart rate when you don't
I was
smoke.
talking about the $60 charge. I mean, I know today we may not, 'cause we don't know,
I can definitely look.
but later, I mean, at some point, maybe.
What it will do is it'll reduce the number of medical claims that we have. It'll make the people healthier, so they go to the doctors less. The $60 as a surcharge could be any amount. It has to be something that has to be a deterrent, to hit enough. But we also didn't want to break the staff either. So I tried to do some research and finding out a specific number or percentage of savings that it would be. And it's just a long graduated process that any of these wellness programs and incentives can, over the course of the years, result in up to 10 to 15% reduction in the premiums. But that's a combination of all of them.
But there's more things than just tobacco users. I mean, obesity. Can we do a surcharge on obesity?
Unfortunately, no.
I know, well, I'm just,
Tobacco is the easy target because it's not protected by anybody. Obesity, you get into ADA compliance and you're starting getting a protected class that, if you are obese, it is considered a disease and you are protected and you can't ostracize someone because of it, like alcoholism and things like that. So tobacco is just the easy one that everybody goes with.
How does that
Based on our
be?
state also.
Oh yeah, and I apologize. The state health benefit plan also does a tobacco surcharge. So all teachers, state employees have to sign the affidavit as well.
Large companies are doing the same thing. But my question, also, how does this enforced? I mean, so say somebody goes through this program and then,
Well, the affidavit lists out, there's a couple of different options there. Some companies will kick you off the plan. I don't think that's really viable for us because it creates another problem with the Affordable Care Act, because if we kick them off, they go to the exchange, they get coverage, we're paying penalties. What we did was say, okay, if you have any claims that are tobacco related, then those claims can be denied. And our testing mechanism will be our random drug test. We can add nicotine to those.
is there a cost associated with doing the testing?
I have requested one from First Lab, but they have not returned back. It should be minimal based upon the spray that we're doing currently as far as what we're testing for. Okay? Those are the two that we have right now. We're also rolling out the wellness program, which will be at the end of this month. We'll have training, a prescription drug program. We're going to, with the rollout of the fourth tier, give the employees tools that they can go out and they can shop their prescriptions. Because I knew there was a difference between Walmart, Walgreens, Target, but there's a very large difference. And there are apps you can go to and websites you can go to that you can price your own medicine and go and make an informed decision. Any questions?
I see there's several alternative ones with the tobacco use surcharge, and then there's also the prescription drug plan that can be split out.
I wanted to give you an option if you didn't want to do one or the other, that you could say yes to the surcharge, no to the fourth tier, yes to the fourth tier, no to the surcharge. My recommendation, staff, would be to do alternative one to approve both.
Did we have calculations about what kind of money difference it is to the county if we did a $60 surcharge or if we do not?
I don't have the exact number of smokers in the county.
So I wondered if we had some kind of estimated calculation.
Honestly, I wouldn't hazard to guess.
I think the difference in the discussions that we had, and Joanna, right? I think the difference in the discussions that staff has had, talks myself and with Kevin, is that what the insurance companies are wanting to see at this point, and that's why we're rolling out this wellness program. That program has been there. It just never has been pressed the way it needs to be pressed. And one of the things that every single one of the agents that we talked to was that when they see the county moving in such a direction where we're taking the wellness of our staff seriously, then those premiums start to come down. And they start to come down because they look at those ratios and they look at how much exposure they have.
They penalize us if they don't do what we're doing our part.
Correct.
the charge of $60 is doing that one.
And so the wellness is part of that, the smoking is part of that. We looked at the weight issue. We looked at every single thing that we saw other entities starting to apply.
I think the tobacco charge is beginning to be pretty common.
It is.
And when will it start?
We would announce it on July 1 and give them 120 days to complete the cessation program, so the actual charge would start on November 1st. You have to give them 30 days to get started on it, then 90 days be without tobacco products. Then they can sign the affidavit and not have to pay the surcharge.
And the reason we're doing this now is because our renewal will come up in December. And one of the things we want to make sure is that every single one of the agents and the companies that we're talking to understands that the county staff, as well as the commissioners and the employees, are serious about looking at what our drugs are costing. We're serious about looking at whether or not we need to go to this particular entity to get an MRI that's $2,000 versus $50,000 someplace else. Those are the pieces where they have told us it is very important for us to get our hands around the fact that we are educating staff, the board, and the families that are on our plans.
With this program, are they offering the drugs to help with this? There's certain drugs in there to help you get off nicotine.
Like Chantix and
Is that part of
Nicotrol.
it?
They do have a program that those drugs are available.
Is that a cost to the employee on top of the $60?
There would be a cost in our current, it's called Relay, is our wellness program that we have through United Healthcare, and that's covered by our current premiums. They do have another level that has coverage for those drugs once you finish the patch and the Nicotrol gum and things like that, all the over-counter ones, but there's an additional charge to our premiums for those. So it would not only cost smokers, it costs everybody.
What do y'all think?
I don't know, Steve or Ray, I mean, if you don't do anything, it's gonna cost, our premiums are gonna go up.
Yes, sir.
So we have to be proactive in some way, but I understand the concern of penalizing one group.
And penalizing them is not going to work, because it hasn't worked in the past with all the taxes that have been put on tobacco products. They haven't stopped doing that.
Do we already have a cessation program?
A cessation
Is there a
program?
program out there now that they can
Yes, sir.
participate in to try to quit if they're?
Yes, sir. It's what Joanna was referencing, that the programs are all there. It just has not been rolled out as it should have. But yes, there's a cessation program that's already available through United Healthcare.
So if can we actively promote that?
We will be as well. I
And
mean,
that show possibly,
I get it. I understand taking more money out of the employees' pockets is not what we want to do. But this is,
Frankly, if the drug commissioners aren't comfortable with the $60 at this time, we can just do alternative number 2, which is for the addition of the 4th tier to the prescription drug plan only.
right.
but I think we need to be proactive and making sure employees are aware that there is a program out there to help them.
Yeah, and that is definitely some of the information that's going to be put out to them. I mean, as soon as the surcharge is put out, if you approve it, right behind it will be the cessation.
We could
Saves
even
it.
say that that's something we've had to look at that could happen in the future so that they are able to work towards not smoking. So that's helps interest anyway.
Do one and then start another one after they've had it.
I mean, for me to be standing up here, I guess I'm going to be quitting smoking.
Shame on you.
I know, I got to be leading by example.
That's exactly right.
So, but that's why I broke it out, that you could separate it. You could approve one, not the other, approve both, whatever you feel comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with the $60, that's not set in stone either. It can be a different amount.
I just can't stand the idea of singling out. I mean, there's so many things across the board that create health issues.
And that's something we'll be addressing in the wellness program, is there will be obesity counseling. There will be dietary assistance. There's an entire library online of flyers that can be mailed out,
But
emails.
assisting and surcharging them is 2 different things, so,
I
if
get you.
everybody's comfortable, I'll say we go with 2. Does anybody have input otherwise?
No further discussion. No further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make motion to approve number 2 with approving fourth tier drug prescription plan only at this time.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Kiefer. All in favor? Any opposed? Consideration to approve updated job descriptions and pay grades for Department 15.
In our ongoing update of all the job descriptions to be, again, compliant with ADA, we've actually done ones that are more countywide. The office assistant 1, 2, and 3, and administrative assistant 1, 2, and 3. We currently have classifications of office assistant and senior office assistant, and administrative assistant 1 was the only level we had for that. So these simply just step them up as we have before. These are not creating new jobs, part of the progression plan and being able to grow, and as people develop their talents, if it's approved by the board, they can move up, and these descriptions are already there to give them guidance as to what their duties would be.
No money involved.
No money involved, no sir.
It's not a job we're actively filling.
No. These are going to fall in line with current employees.
Any discussion? Motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rhodes, second by Commissioner Wilson. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Consideration to approve to amend the county administrator's contract.
At the request of the board, I worked with Lee to draft an amendment to the current county administrator's contract addressing compensation and changing section 3A within that contract, and basically establishing what his annual salary would be, and that it would be addressed and adjusted through section 8 of that contract, which is performance review. And then he would no longer be eligible for COLAs, merits, or longevity. So it'd simply be at a conversation and agreement between the board and the county administrator regarding the salary.
Any discussion?
Basically, we looked at the scenario, different counties of our size and what administrators were being paid. Toss have been well underpaid in that area, and we thought he's done a really good job for us and has saved us a lot of money in various areas. I'm very much in favor of it.
No other discussion? Entertain a motion.
The motion that we approve contract and then alternative 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Boyd. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Next item, consideration to approve the amendment between Effingham County and Bryan County for the use of county inmates. Thoughts?
We currently have an agreement with Bryan County for the use of inmates. It is set to expire June 30th, I think. And this has been sent to them, to Bryan County, and they have yet to reply back to me as to whether or not they want to renew it and when they will do so. So you all may want to table this until your next meeting to give me time to get back and make sure they even want to do it, so we don't end up with it approved and it going nowhere.
Okay, you want to table this?
Yes, ma'am. Would y'all could, please?
I'll make a motion to table new business for Dirksen.
Second.
Motion to table by Commissioner Kiefer, second by Commissioner Boyd. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Item 14, consideration to approve an agreement with the City of Rankin for use of inmates.
This is, I believe they want to do it. Ms. Wanda told me that she forwarded it to the clerk. I asked for a date when they would have it on their meetings. I still haven't gotten it back. So I guess it's up to you all. I'm pretty certain they do want to approve it. But you could table it. It's the same thing at 6:30 if y'all want to table it until 6:30.
They already using inmates on it.
They are, but the current agreement expires on 6:30. This is to renew it beyond 6:30. So it's fine if y'all want to table it till 6:21, and hopefully they'll have it on their agenda, and we'll go and get it approved from them first. So if y'all like to table it too, that's fine with me. although I'm pretty sure they do want to extend it.
All right, make a motion to table to the next meeting. What time?
6/21, yes.
Next meeting.
Second.
Motion carried by Commissioner Loper, second by Commissioner White. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Item 15, consideration to approve to authorize the chairman to execute a loan agreement 2015013 WJ with the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority.
This is the loan agreement for the Old Augusta Road expansion that we were just talking about. It was approved by GFA. We've held it for a little while now, waiting on some language to be worked out. There were some concerns some board members had over this, so we are now, we believe that we have that. Is that what you gave them?
She was asking which ones.
There was some language provided earlier today in a resolution that would go with this that you all have not seen yet. So this is another one we can do whatever y'all want to. We can go over the,
Chairman, I just want to recuse myself from item 15 and 16 as per the agreement as listed, past developers that had contracts, our company names listed in there, so I'm going to recuse myself on those two items.
Commissioner Jones will be stepping down.
so we can go over the language and see if that's something that y'all are comfortable with, including in the resolution. Or we can wait, whatever y'all want to do. This thing does die on the 25th. If it's not approved by the 25th, it's no longer valid. And my concern is that if that happens, I don't know that Chief will ever really do business with us again. We've been messing with this modification for over 2 years now. So,
Do you have the information there to show us?
It's in your gray folders.
Which one is it?
It's 3 different documents. Should be on the top.
Lee, you reviewed this?
I did.
You have any concerns?
I don't, I added that last section to the resolution. Here in the resolution and in my borrowed council letter, just to further put them on notice.
We need to do this behind.
The language that he put in there specifically was to refer to the fact that we basically have the additional agreements, which is what we talked about in Atlanta with the various developers. And because of that, we are still in the process of some of those agreements paying those cost recovery fees back to them, and therefore we may or may not have perfected title to some of those and some of that infrastructure.
Just clear up any ambiguity.
And so the item that he references in resolution of the governing body, it is the last section of that first page. Be it further resolved by the governing body of the borrower that the loan agreement and note do not require security interest in the existing environmental facilities, and that the lender is aware of the existing water and sewer agreements between the borrower and the private developers, in which some developers may claim an ownership interest in existing water and sewer infrastructure. And in addition to that, we asked Lee to reference that within his opinion that will be a part of this, and to attach a copy of their attorney's opinion regarding those contracts with regard to the tax certificate sections within the loan agreements.
the resolution. Any concerns? Our attorney has reviewed. The staff have any concerns?
No, sir, not with this language in there. We believe that as required by the document itself, we have put JIPA on notice that these particular items do exist, and their own attorney's opinion letter regarding how those particular agreements reference to the tax certificate documentation is what was necessary to ensure the two items that this board was concerned about.
Staff being satisfied, our county attorney being satisfied, roll call for motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative one, authorizing the chairman to execute loan agreements.
Second.
And these particular the two first ones are modifications to the original. No? Which one is? I didn't
That's,
remember.
that's next document.
Yeah, there's two items. Just that one. Okay, got a motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Keeper. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And please note that you are voting on this item.
That's that.
You vote. Thank you.
Next item, consideration to approve a resolution authorizing the chairman to execute a loan modification agreement for two GFA loans, 2005-L01WS and CWSRF 04-07.
Mr. Chairman, these are existing loans that we have, and this goes back probably close to 2 years at this point. The original loans that were issued required a debt service account, a dedicated debt service account, and letters of credit to be collected. And as we know from the Far West lawsuit, that is an illegal requirement. The letters of credit, not debt service account. These two modifications, the only thing they modify will be Exhibit D, which contained those conditions on them. So those conditions have now been removed from both loans, the debt service account, and the letters of credit. Other than that, the loan is exactly as is. That's all that was modified. And again, that same language is inserted into the resolution of these two as well. The same language we just discussed in the previous item.
And then you review this, and you're comfortable with it?
Yes.
Any discussion from the board? Call for motion.
Make a motion to approve alternate number one.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Loper, second by Commissioner Keeper. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Commissioner Jones, will you join us? Next item, consideration to approve fiscal year 2017 contract, fiscal agent agreement, and property use agreement for Family Connection.
Yes, sir. Each year, this board approves the staff and board acting as fiscal agent for the Family Connection grant that we receive from the state. We, in addition to that, also not only approve the grant itself, but we also approve an agreement with Family Connection as to how that is to operate. It covers the services that the board is to provide, and it covers the services and the actions of their board. And this particular agreement spells out, I believe we've been signing it for about 3 years now, 4 years. And so we do it in conjunction with accepting the actual grant from the state. for Family Connections, which their board oversees. That particular grant this current year is $47,000.
Discussion from the board. Motion.
Make a motion to approve Alderman number 1, approve the request.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, consideration to approve the resolution to amend fiscal year 2015 to 2016 budget.
Yes, sir. As we get closer to the end of the year, we try to make sure that all the amendments that we need for the budget are made. This incorporates not only our per diem and travel, which we moved from Department 15 into the individual departments based off of the approval of the administrator for travel within those departments. In addition to that, we also are moving funds between line items for the vehicles that we purchased with the loan that the board approved. So we need to show that funding being moved to the various departments for which we bought vehicles. And one of the items that we, I believe the administrator has already discussed and told the board about was for the mitigation credits that we had to buy for a road project. The total amounted to about $80,000. And so we needed to take those funds from contingency to be able to pay for those mitigation credits. And it was for a road project that was some years ago that we were unaware had not been purchased for that project.
Discussion? Motion? No discussion on the motion.
Make a motion to approve Alderman number 1. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 19, consideration to approve an encroachment permit for the Lincoln Carolina gas transmission.
This is an encroachment permit for the water and sewer lines for the Old Augusta Road project that we previously discussing. There's that big gas and power line that runs kind of through the Park of Commerce there. This is to cross the gas line. The next two items down will be across the power line. But they're all for the same thing. These are just encroachment permits for the Old Augusta Road utilities to get through that big gas and power line that runs by Park of Commerce there.
Any discussion? Call for a motion.
Motion to approve alternative number 1.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Wilson. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, it was about the same thing. Consideration to approve a right-of-way agreement with Beltway Express Company LLC to clean and maintain a ditch which supports Staffordshire subdivision.
Yes, sir, we have discussed this a couple of times now as we proceeded through this. This is the actual right of entry permit that will allow us permission to get onto Elba Express's property to perform the maintenance. We have spoken with EPD, who has verified that a state water buffer is not required. The permit application has been submitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to actually do the work. Ms. Spacer left me a message yesterday, I believe. I think she's set up to go next week out there to actually do a site visit. So we're getting close, which is a good thing because they're getting their cells. There's a lot of water backing up right now, all the track over there. So hopefully we're dangerously close to getting this done.
Yeah, this is something to discuss in a while. Any discussion? Motion. This next item, I will have to step down as I have a conflict. This is with the company I'm employed with. Mr. Direction here, Stephanie, we need to call for a vote for somebody to,
To appoint someone to sit as vice or chairman, yes.
I've talked to Commissioner Kiefer, he said he would handle this item, so I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Kiefer to handle this item.
I'll second.
Make a motion to approve.
We got a motion by Commissioner Logan, and second by
Second.
Sorry. All in favor? Aye. And I'll step down.
New business item 21, consideration to approve an encroachment agreement with Georgia Power Company.
As previously discussed, this is for the water and sewer lines for the old Augusta Water and Sewer Extension Project to cross the Georgia Power portion of that right. It's the same agreement that you all approved not long ago for Winfield. The agreement's the same, not the same location.
Any questions, comments? And I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve order number 1.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Luker and a second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's it. Approved unanimously.
I just want to ask, how long is this thing going to be, all the way to 21?
Sir, to
The-
21. It's running fair level. It's going from Market Commerce to Old Augusta Road.
And what size of the line's going to be? The
You
water?
know, west, east side, 21.
And what will sewage line be?
Sir,
What size will the sewage line be?
what size?
Yeah,
I don't, it's a 4th main, I believe it's a 12-inch.
okay. So it's going to handle that for a long time, eh?
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's designed to handle that whole 500 acres in there or more, supposed to be out there.
Right.
Okay, next item 22. Consideration to approve a user agreement for reuse water with Effingham Ocean Crossing LP and Effingham Ocean Crossing 2 LP.
Yes, these are phase 1 and 2 of the Goshen Crossing apartments that are on Goshen Extension. They've existed now for several years, or have been built and occupied for several years, and they utilize reuse water within that complex for irrigation of the flower beds and certain things. And it was discovered a couple of months ago, they were improperly using it for a vegetable garden, which is a violation of the rules that EPD puts out. And through that process, we determined that there wasn't a user agreement. Both our LAS permit and the Georgia Protection Division's guidelines for water reclamation and urban reuse require that a user agreement be put in place. That agreement does spell out the allowable uses, and it does say that vegetable garden is not an allowable use. So through that process, we've been working on getting an agreement with them. We have finally identified the right persons to sign it. So there's just there's 2 separate legal entities that hold title to the 2 phases. So that's why there's 2 separate agreements. So this is basically just to clear up a procedural requirement that we have this agreement in place.
Any discussion on this item? None. Take a motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative number 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kiefer, second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That is all the business. Our next item is on the report.
Here you go. All right, you should have in front of you your committee reports for this meeting. You have your monthly animal shelter report for the month of May, your monthly senior citizens report, and for some reason fire didn't get theirs in. I guess it's been busy with floods or something. I don't know. As a reminder, we will be having planning and zoning training July 21st, 9 to 4 here at this building. We've discussed that before. I just want to remind you all of that. ACCG summer meetings are going on now, starting June 20th, about to come up June 20th through the 24th. There is a schedule in here where each of those are, they're each 10 to 2 lunch, and you do get 3 hours of continuing education for attending those. Chamber of Commerce annual meeting will be held June the 9th, that's this Thursday, I guess. 7 to 9, have you,
We have tickets.
Okay.
So
we have 7,
we have 8.
8. There's 8 tickets. If any of you all would like to attend that, please obtain those from Ms. Johnson. And that's 7 to 9 on this Thursday. The Kroger grand opening, you all have been invited to that. It's on the 15th of June at 10 a.m. I believe you RSVPs. Everybody? Stephanie?
Yep.
So you all are officially obligated to come.
Obligated? Okay.
Yes, you're obligated. You've been RSVP'd. It's official now. You can't not do it. Local maintenance improvement grant. This is the one that was done for the amended FY16 budget. I probably mentioned this to y'all last time, last meeting, that we were awarded some funds from that. This was done as all system safety criteria. It was scored that way because they'll make money. So basically what you have at the back, well, I must not print it all the way. There should be, I don't know if it's, I don't know if I just didn't print the whole thing or what happened. There should be Stephanie's got it, so I just want to stop printing it. The last 2 pages of your thing should be one, an announcement from GDOT that says we're awarded money. I've been told the amount of money that's shown on there may not be correct. It's not what the district submitted up. It may be slightly less. What you're holding shows $290,000. It may be $250,000. So it's one of the 2 that have been awarded. And if you can see off to the side, it says awarded for 2-foot shoulder widening, striping and signage on 7 county roads, and 2 roundabouts and 4 turn lanes. Well, that's the list that we submitted that totaled about $2 million. So clearly there's not enough money to do all of that. So what GDOT did was basically just approve everything on our list, and it's now up to you all to determine where that money gets spent. So as long as it was something that was on the list, we can spend it. The last page of that, last 2 pages should be the list that was submitted to them. So we have to match this with 30% because of the HB 170 laws. So if it's the 250, that's 75,000, it's 325. So it's 325 to 350 is what we'll be spending for total. So I will come back to you all, in the near future and ask for your guidance on what projects off of that list we actually want to take on and do. That's somewhere in the $325,000, $350,000 range. And you should have estimates outside of each one of them. And you'll have to answer that tonight, but again, the way they awarded it gave us the latitude to do anything we want on that list, basically. And that is all that I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any other staff reports? Any other staff comments? Do we need to make a motion to, we have our executive session minutes for May 17th. We can review and make a motion on that. Approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes as presented.
Thank
Motion by Commissioner Lewis, second by Commissioner Lewis, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Any board member have comments? Before we close out? Yeah, anything?
Are we going to have a joint workshop with the planning board, something like that?
That's on the 21st.
That's the only one.
Yeah,
That'll be before.
July 21st.
July 21st.
Right, not June, July.
Okay.
It's number 3 on the committee report.
Where's it gonna be located?
Here.
Here.
Do we have
I did. Oh, I did. I had, Director of United Way, did you get a message? I'm sure you did. apparently there's a woman that lives here in the county, had well problems. They've gotten a well driller in the county to donate $1,900 of equipment. But what she was saying is, apparently there are some grants out there. Have we applied for any in the past to assist? You know, any?
I'm not aware of any. If she could tell me
Yeah.
where they are, what they are, we'd be glad to assist, but
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with what she's referring to.
That's all I have.
I just want to publicly thank Clint. He came out today and spoke with the Power at our monthly safety meeting to talk about hurricane preparedness and what the county does to ensure our residents are safe during a hurricane. I appreciate that. Do you have anything? No executive session, I understand.
I'm good.
Anything else?
You good? I'm good.
Good. Call for a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Keefe, second by Commissioner Lake. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Adjourned.